If you don't want to hear the percentages of people that have poop butt that come to get a Brazilian wax, you can scroll. For those of you who are here for my poop butt content and you want to hear those percentages and you're all about poop butt TikTok, let's get into it.
Like, I think it's really safe to say that all y'all do is co-wash y'all ass, from what Auntie just said. Send Out here coming at you with another video, and in today's video we are going to talk about gatekeeping and why it needs to come back. There is a really negative undertone over the whole word or phrase gatekeeping. So let's break down what gatekeeping really is. Now, gatekeeping plays a major role in a lot of different industries. This is to ensure safety, quality, and reliability. If we don't have certain gates and certain parameters of certain things, then how do you maintain it?
Technology.
Ooh, you feel it?
Ooh, yeah, that was hot.
Really?
Gatekeeping is another way of saying like controlling assets and having a certain standard that you uphold to. And when you're gatekeeping, right, in a certain industry or in multiple industries for this matter, you're making sure that people who are unqualified to do certain jobs are not just able to come through the door, because there's a certain barrier of entry. Not just anytime Dick and Harry can start doing stuff. If you ask me, gatekeeping really helps to protect the public from different health issues and things like that, because if you are gatekeeping is another way for you to say, hey, I need to know that I know that you know what you're doing. Now, granted, there are a whole bunch of people that went to school that are still really dusty, but even from that token, by them going to school, it is a choice that they're making to be dusty. But by there being a certain standard because of the gatekeeping, then there are certain things that just never happen. So let's go ahead and break down a whole lot of the industries that have just been bust wide open by us letting go of gatekeeping. Number one, of course, is, I talk about hair all the time on this channel, so it's going to be hair care and hair styling. To be quite honest, YouTube is both a blessing and a curse, because it is a place where so many different people came to share their stories and share information. But because everybody is able to create this type of content, you look like a professional, it is so easy for you to surpass those gates. Now, when I went to cosmetology school, the majority of the girls that I was in school with could not do hair, and they were not going to be good cosmetologists when they got done doing hair. It's a small amount of people who are actually good. Just like whenever you in high school and it's a whole bunch of boys on the basketball team, everybody want to go to the NFL, everybody ain't going to the league. It's probably none of the boys you went to high school with went to the league, or it may be just one, right? It's really touch and go. It just depends on the cosmetologist. Now, even once you have a cosmetology license, there are still gates, right? Because when you get a cosmetology license, literally the only thing you're going to do is learning how to do it legally, right? So you're learning the science of the human body, how to properly break down the bonds of the hair. But before that, you learn about what hair is, where it's growing from, how it's coming out, what type of protein it is, how to break it down. When we go into the color module, before they teach you like, oh, put this on the hair, well, long before they teach you anything, long before you can touch a person or even a mannequin, you're in a book learning the color wheel, right? And that's why like when people are like, oh, Sin, can you give us a video on how to use hair color? The answer is no, guys. Not because I'm like, oh, I'm gatekeeping this information, but it's not that simple. Most people think hair color in their hair is as simple as taking a tube out, squeezing it in a bottle, and then taking another tube out and measure and squeezing it and mixing it up. And it's not true. Like Guy Tang is a great example of that, and it is a literal science. Like the color wheel, we literally study the color wheel, right? Learn learning what colors cancel out what colors. And then when you look, like a lot of times you go, most women think that hair color is the same as when you go to the beauty supply store and you buy like hair, and it's like, oh, a WB, or I don't know, give me a 2B or 2W or whatever. That's not real life. That's how it go in the beauty supply store. But in the hair salon, we go by the color wheel, where it's from 0 to 10, 0 being jet black and 10 being platinum blonde, right? Well, not really 0 or 1. 0 is no pigment at all, but 1 being jet black and 10 being like platinum blonde, the lightest blonde. Sometimes it even goes to 12 if we're talking about like the full white blonde, right? So it's not as simplistic as just emptying colors out and stuff like that. It's not that simplistic. Even down to locks, right? Like, I am a licensed cosmetologist with the focus on natural hair. And when I say natural hair, I don't mean like curly girls. No, I mean the hair that is coming naturally out of your scalp. That is my specialty. Regardless of what chemical service you decide to do, the hair that is coming out of your scalp is my specialty. Add-ons that I do would be things like hair extensions and stuff like that. I like to do things like that, but my specialty is the hair that is growing out of your scalp. When I say natural hair, I'm not speaking of like how your curls go, because contrary to popular opinion, so many women have curly hair, but there are different methods, right? And we'll talk about that in another video. Let me know if you in the comments if you guys want me to do a video all about like different curl patterns across all races, because black women are not the only women with curly hair, and I would love to show you. When we are talking about a cosmetology license, right, you're gonna learn the basics, and then of course you're gonna learn proper sanitation, because it's through a lot of poor sanitation practices that a lot of people probably don't even realize that they're practicing. You don't know it unless you go to cosmetology school. Then you can sometimes pass bacteria infections from client to client in a like split second, right? If you don't know proper sanitation techniques, right? So stuff like that, right? The basics. And maybe I'll put something like here on the screen or over on my blog post of all of the things that you learn in cosmetology school, right? But the reason that I say certain levels of the industry need gatekeeping is because everybody that gets out of cosmetology school is not qualified to have every conversation, right? And most of the time people, they like to put things in certain categories. For example, depending on the country that you're in, like in some countries they really do give trichologists the type of training that they need for them to be like up on a higher level than cosmetologists. But however, in the United States of America, it's not like that. In the United States of America, some trichology programs are as short as 2 weeks. So it's not like that, right? In the United States, let's be clear, in the United States, trichologists are sometimes not even as qualified as a cosmetologist is to do certain things, because a trichologist is somebody who specializes in Hairshaft and hair follicle disorders and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll put it on the screen. And in the United States, like I said, you don't have to do any clinical. You can, but it is not a requirement of you to do any clinical under a dermatologist or anything like that. However, in other countries, their trichology program is like a couple of years, and a trichologist is higher than a cosmetologist in some countries, right? But the thing is, every cosmetologist is not created equal. Everybody goes to school, everybody pays the same student loans and all of that, but everybody has the same student loans and all of that, but everybody is not as hungry and everybody does not go as far, right? Just like you have a bunch of girls that I went to school with. Yeah, everybody has a license, but the majority of them don't even do hair anymore. And then, for example, you'll see a lot of videos or whatever that will, and I'm just using this as an example, you'll see a lot of videos that's like, oh, sure, no, she's talking about, that's not true. But the thing is, if you're a cosmetologist that stopped at cosmetology school and didn't go any further than that, some of the things that I say may be a little foreign foreign to you because you stopped at cosmetology school. And that's just the truth, right? That's just the truth, because it's not just like, okay, everything that I know and all of the different things that I do, I learned in cosmetology school. That's absolutely not true. So it is true that there is a certain barrier of entry when you're doing certain things. That's why you'll see certain people that'll have master cosmetologists, or it'll be a cosmetologist plus other things, because once you get a cosmetology license, it's not just, okay, I have a license and that's it. No, you have to keep furthering your education. But a lot of times what happens is, and this is just like coming from me and just speaking for myself as a cosmetologist, like when you get the license, when you get your L's, you've been in school for so long, like you've been in school for 2 years, and 2 years may not sound like a long time, but 2 years of cosmetology school is a long time, my baby. Okay, it's a lot. And so when you finally get out, you like, yup, I'm that thing. And you have to have this confidence, and you have to have a confidence that almost is arrogance, or like it's a really thin line. You literally have to. That's the only way that you have the confidence to be able to stick it out in this industry, because it's not easy. It's not for the weak. And if you don't have a strong head on your shoulders, women will run all over you, and I don't care what anybody says. So a lot of times, yeah, you do see cosmetologists kind of have like that attitude, but you kind of have to, because you'll have all of these different people and all of these different personalities that you're experiencing. And if you don't have a focus, if your only vision or your only plan was to leave cosmetology school and do hair and that's it, then your mind's gonna be clouded, right? But because gatekeeping was taken away, right, it made it like a free-for-all. And moreover, because cosmetologists didn't keep on furthering their education when they got done, it made it a free-for-all. But see, what ends up happening too, and a lot of people are going to agree with this, a lot of cosmetologists get so caught up in the money, which is very important. You get so caught up in the money that you begin chasing trends instead of following what you learned and following the science, right? Because and don't get me wrong, it's understandable. Like, I've been there too. If your motive is to pay bills, right, and the people who pay you to pay your bills are all changing their focus over here, sometimes you gotta go where the money goes. And that's what a lot of people did. But a lot of others also chose, like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go deeper into the science, and this is obviously just not my market or my audience anymore. But we just bust open the barrier of entry. Estheticians are literally, like, in my opinion, like, cosmetologists, the disrespect and the lack of gatekeeping with the cosmetology field is pretty bad. It is. But to me, nothing tops estheticians. And I'm sorry, a lot of people are not going to want to hear this, but a lot of the stuff that y'all do that everybody's a pro at doing are things that only an esthetician should be doing. Like lashes. I saw just the other day, people are doing freaking UV lashes.
I'm sick of it. First, y'all was getting back alley basement veneers. Now, y'all are letting lash techs put UV light on your eyeball. Are you a idiot? How much of an idiot are you? You literally are going to be blind and have cancer in the next 24 hours. It's a UV light.
We are trying the new UV technology.
Ooh, you feel it?
Ooh, yeah, that was hot.
Really? How'd it feel?
If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I've shared a few videos on my opinions on the UV LED light craze for doing lash extensions. Just for those that don't know, it's a lash glue that's cured by UV or LED light. and the whole industry's going crazy over it for the last maybe 8 months. And over those 8 months, I've shared various videos giving my opinions based on the information that I had at the time. Up until my last video that I did, which was basically just saying that it's completely inevitable. No matter the risks, no matter the safety involved, that dream of quicker, better, no reactions, all of that stuff is just taking people's attention. But I'll happily give you my opinion as of right this second. And I want to start by showing you this thing right here. This is the latest development in the LED lights that cure lash glue. This is the latest one that we're looking into. Now, for the record, the glue itself is no more dangerous than any other normal lash glue. So the question of safety is nothing to do with the liquids involved. They're as safe or as dangerous as just normal lash extensions. The issues come from this thing here. And like I said, I'll happily tell you where I'm at with this thing. Over the last 8 months, I've been on a huge journey of education as well as testing. And the truth is, it's all about finding a trusted source for your information rather than just accepting what somebody says. Now, who you trust and what you believe is going to be different for everyone. For example, I have now spoken with 5 different manufacturers, 3 from China, 1 from Germany, and 1 in the UK. I've also been in contact with 2 different medical professionals that are not linked to the lash industry at all, but they have expertise in this. Your eyes. Oh, and 1 that deals specifically with everything to do with cancers. And here's what I found. The 3 that I spoke to in China have sent us all of the different light options they do. Again, I think I showed a couple of them in a previous video. There's one that looks like a pen, there's the swan neck thing that you see, there's one that goes around your wrist, which is honestly pointless, and there's one that clamps to your bed. Now, the most important thing about these lights is getting the safety information. Can the manufacturers give us a certificate to say that this passes any sort of safety tests that are required for a light like that to be going this close to the eye or even in and around the eye? And do you know what happened? The 3 different manufacturers all emailed me the identical safety assessment certificate that was also on a Word document, so you could just edit it as you please. And when you search into the company that did the testing, allegedly for all 3 of these companies, you cannot get any information from them as to this test. And just for a bit more clarity, the dates of testing on these certificates were all exactly the same as well. The signatures that have been sort of like inserted on there, the random alleged handwriting copy and pasted in, it's all identical, which is a massive red flag straight away. But what's happening in our industry is unknowing lash artists or lash brands that want to bring this to market, they may ask for the safety assessments and that manufacturer may send them that exact certificate. And because they don't know any better and obviously they happen to just trust the manufacturer, they say, oh, thank you very much, it's obviously safe, they get it in and they start selling it. So moving on to the German and the UK manufacturers. They have been working on this system for as long as anybody. And did you know, to this day, they still have not had it passed through any safety assessment tests. And the UK manufacturer specifically happens to be our lash glue manufacturer as well. So we have a good relationship with them. And you know, I mentioned earlier about who you trust. Well, I trust them. And they're just as shocked as we are that this thing is already as big as it is. And through my conversations with the medical professionals, I've had a few lessons in light wavelengths, UV, LED, so I now know more than I ever did 8 months ago. You can also find online, which again, I don't know how trustworthy they are, but you can find online different industrial studies and tests for health and safety for UV equipment. Because at the end of the day, UV cured glue is used in the industrial industry already. It's already used, it already exists. This isn't like brand new. So when you balance it all together, if the machine itself is set to a certain standard, that can be tested and proven, and if all proper precautions are taken, which means protecting the top lid of the client, the lash tech must be wearing the protective goggles, because they're the ones staring at it all day, and there can only be a certain time frame of exposure per person per day, if all of those are met, then there is an argument to say that it is a good product that can work. But what's going on in our industry right now, with all the different lights that are around, that all have the same safety assessment tests, that come with no further education, no manuals on how to use it properly and safely, no disclaimer forms that explain the risks involved, and instead just a lot of marketing buzzwords that really sell the dream to lash artists.
Like, at this point, I know for a definite fact I'm on the wrong planet somehow, because if you have to put, when you go to the nail salon, right? When you go to the nail salon and you get gel on your nails, when they put the UVs on there, sometimes, I remember this one nail shop I went to, they give you glasses to protect your eyes from radiation. They give you glasses. They don't say close your eyes to protect it. No, they give you glasses to protect your skin and your eyeballs and the eye sockets from the radiation. But now in 2024, oh my goodness, somebody's granddaughter is now using a UV light to cure the glue on your lashes. Listen, this is what I mean. There needs to be some barrier of entry. Do y'all know how many people that I know from back home that's like, oh, I do lashes now? Because people think that because it's something easy to do, that it's something everybody can do. But in reality, only an esthetician should be doing lashes. And the thing is, with gatekeeping, the reason that it's a problem is because people don't like to be told anything, right? People don't like to be told anything. People don't like to be told what to do. I was gonna make this a whole nother video within itself, but I can say that I just want to stand up for estheticians real quick, because oh my God, let's look at this real quick.
The fact that people have the audacity to try to tell people that have encountered any kind of poop butt situation, poop out of butt situation, to just clean it up or move on. The amount of dismissal that comes to this, it really irritates me because there is no support system for estheticians to deal with this specifically in this space for Brazilian waxing. Poop butt, you bathe before you get a Brazilian wax? You can scroll. For those of you who are not sure if you have body odor or you are offending your Brazilian waxer, let's get into it. This esthetician says, once I got a client doing a full body and she had green discharge. I had to leave the room because I couldn't hold my breath anymore because of the smell. Here's things that are very subtle as a Brazilian waxer. Number one, we will wear something under our nose. It'll be Vicks Vapor Rub. It'll be essential oils. It'll be something in a balm. We'll put it right underneath our nose. You won't even know. We actually learn how to do mouth breathing so we don't breathe through our nose, so we have no scent coming in there and changing how our facial will change when that scent becomes offensive.
They have to learn special techniques in breathing. Let me get that through. Let that sink in.
Number one go-to for stinky feet was to put an essential oil-based towel over your feet, especially a warm towel, and let it sit there the entire service because your feet smell. Another thing that I would also do is I would have a fan blowing on you to blow your body odor away from me and towards you so that you would be able to smell what I'm smelling, all while still breathing out of my mouth. Another thing that I have is my amazing Funk Buster. Funk Buster cuts all funk. It actually is my number one product during spring and summer, specifically for Brazilian waxers or anybody who's in the waxing space who wants to cut offensive odors, or we don't want the next client to smell the last client. That lemongrass Funk Buster will cut it. It'll smell brand spanking new. And when poop has moved outside of the poop butt space, if you don't want to hear any of my content, you can totally scroll. For those of you who are here for our content and this conversation, you can absolutely stay. Let's get into it. This esthetician says, the first time I saw poop inside someone's labia, I about died. The poop conversation during a Brazilian wax is not an easy conversation. As much as we try to kind of stay professional, once poop moves into other spaces, especially into the labia space, that's a different type of conversation. And of course, we obviously can't really proceed with the service. I mean, the thing about it is when we start talking about hygiene levels and cleansing and what we provide for people to use, and most of them refuse to use it, you know, there's a lot of comments that, oh, you should have a bidet. The bidet can only work if people use the bidet. A lot of people will decline using the restroom, cleaning themselves, using anything that we provide, they decline it. So when it's presented in this way, just like this, now we have to take the conversation to a different space. Some people are okay with it, especially if it really depends on the way it's delivered. Some people become offended. Some people will say it's shaming. But in order for us to do an amazing service and not cause irritation because there's fecal matter in other spaces outside of the anus, when there is other people's body fluids in that space and we're trying to do work, sometimes we're not even able to provide the entire service.
Like, that's extremely offensive. But it seems like these people that do this type of stuff are really in their feelings because they're being exposed by this.
Because many people have commented on my video, right?
Okay.
I have messages from people in my inbox. You're bound by HIPAA. You're bound by confidentiality. Nope. They brought the poop
name
and left it after they left. So I don't name any names. And unfortunately, many of you are telling on yourselves because you're in my inbox or you're leaving comments saying you can't talk about that. She came to you in confidence. No, she brought poop butt to me.
If you ever bring poop butt to anybody, expect people to talk about you.
An appointment, came in with poop butt, expected me to remove the hair.
That's the amazing
and then me not say anything. So you're telling on yourself.
Yeah.
But getting back to poop butt, it is common. The ones that actually have it are not really who you would think.
Listen up,
it's
fellas.
The put together ones. It's the ones that have a great appearance.
Listen up, fellas.
And then it happens. That's what I think is most shocking Every time. So I always have Funk Buster ready. I always have Ouch Bomb ready. I always have my personal cleansing bar ready. I include products into the service, and I always advise my estheticians to do that as well.
She done saved a couple lives right now.
The ones that come with poop butt aren't really the ones that you would think have poop butt. So there's a double shock. If you don't want to hear the percentages of people that have poop butt that come to get a Brazilian wax, you can scroll. For those of you who are here for my poop butt content and you want to hear those percentages and you're all about poop butt TikTok, let's get into it. This esthetician says, I am a pro body waxer and my guests show up with wet hair and clean girl makeup and cottage cheese down there and poop butt. 85% of my guests, that's 8 out of 10 people.
You can't be dustier. Like, there's no way you could be dustier. I don't know a way that you could be dustier than this. And the thing is this. You heard everything that she just said. Now, I've been calling women dusty and funky and telling y'all that you need to co-wash your hair. Don't co-wash your hair because you ain't co-washing your ass. But see, this is the thing. Oh no, what did I say? I will always go like, why are you trying to co-wash your hair? Do you co-wash your ass? But I think it's safe to say that y'all do be just co-washing y'all ass. Like, I think it's really safe to say that all y'all do is co-wash y'all ass. From what Auntie just said, it has to be, it has to come to a point where we stop getting so easily offended. See, people like me been saying this shit for years, but when I say it, everybody got a problem with me. Right? It's like, oh, she too mean. Oh, why you act like that? No, why do you act like this? It is ridiculous that Auntie gotta smell funky ass. Like, the fact that Auntie's telling y'all that she gotta leave a paper towel or a napkin. She gotta leave wipes, a little sanitary sign, a little wash your ass kit for you when you come in there. That's crazy. It's crazy and it's ridiculous. Right? And I think that is crazy. The craziest part about it is that the reason that gatekeeping has just completely been thrown away is because everybody thinks that they're a professional and everybody thinks that they can do the job that people spend their lives learning. Everybody thinks that they can do it better because social media teaches you a tutorial, so you just automatically, oh, that ain't about nothing. So there's literally no respect for any business. And what's crazy is when I come online saying it's not just hair, like it's not just the hair industry, it's every industry. It's the healthcare industry. Like, I will have clients that were doctors and lawyers and all of that. And the same way that people go back and forth with me about hair is the same way that you guys go back and forth with your doctors, your lawyers, and all of that. And it's literally crazy. Like, it's something that I started to notice around COVID, because when COVID happened, everybody was trying to find a hustle, and upon everybody finding a hustle, the majority of people jumped into businesses that people like me have been doing for over a decade. When COVID hit, I had already been an entrepreneur for about 10 years, and everybody that was around me was like, oh yeah, you're the real job, you gotta read the real job. But then when COVID hit, everybody became an expert at everything. So the gatekeeping was literally the last couple little bit of itty bitty little gates we had left was bust wide open when COVID happened. So my question to you is, what are the parameters that makes it somebody trustworthy enough to follow certain medical practices, right? Because there are no gates. When we're talking about gatekeeping, right, there are certain things that aren't okay for gatekeeping, and I think that's what makes it like a touchy subject for people, because there are certain things about gatekeeping that aren't okay, like in the music industry, how they determine what's played and what's not played on YouTube. If there was somebody, I said if, not that there is, but if there was somebody controlling who got posted, who didn't get posted, who got to have YouTube channels and who didn't have YouTube channels based on certain qualifications. But when it comes to things like aviation, like you fly in a plane, I think there should be gatekeeping if you're going to be a pilot. When it comes to anything in the medical field, I think there should be gatekeeping when it comes to anything in the medical field. Cosmetology, I'm sorry, there needs to be gatekeeping when somebody is doing something. Anytime somebody is doing or performing a service where they're cutting or opening the bond of or splitting open, pulling anything out of any part of the body that is created in the gut and poking through the body, that's something that there needs to be gatekeeping for. Your hair isn't just like some random piece of something just randomly sitting there. No, your hair is made in your gut. It is a protein made of it's a polypeptide chain made of 3 bonds, the hydrogen bond, the salt bond, and the disulfide bond. So it's so important that you learn like the complexity of your hair. Is not as simple as, oh, I watched this video and I mixed this in here and then boom, my hair. It's no, it doesn't work like that. Even being an esthetician is not as simple as, oh, I took a couple of classes and now I can put lashes on. No, because do y'all understand how many things can go wrong in your body just from you messing up your eyes? Do you understand how important your eyes are to the rest of your body? Like, it's crazy. Like, you could literally go to one of these appointments where you're just randomly letting some random girl do some random stupid stuff and you're gonna be messed up. A lot of people are not gonna want to hear this, but I'm sorry, if you're not an esthetician or a cosmetologist, you don't need to be doing lashes on nobody. Because how do you properly cleanse it? What are your sanitation protocols? Like, there are just so many different things. There's so many different things. And it's the same thing with follicle inflammation, right? When it comes to hair products, any and everybody can be like, I'm about to formulate a hair product, and just decide any herb, anything can be the base of a product. Any oil, any butter can go in your hair. Like, anybody can say anything. There's no barrier of entry, and that is the one sucky part about YouTube. Anybody can make any video that they want. Nobody has to prove that they have any warranted facts. Nobody has to prove that they've been to school with any type of education. Nothing. You could literally make a video to say, if you put peanut butter in your booty hole, you will get 6 inches taller, and there is nothing anybody could do about it. Y'all all just gonna have to put peanut butter up y'all booty hole to see if y'all legs grow. Like, so that's, I don't know. I think that gatekeeping is something that needs to come back. There needs to be some type of parameter that makes a person believable. And for me, the problem is we threw away gatekeeping altogether. Nobody has to have any qualifications, any education, or nothing. The way that you gauge of whether or not somebody's words are facts or not is how their hair looks. If they have long hair, then they're good. And that's not true, because if somebody that you're watching is 26 years old, right, and they've made a video, they have a viral video, right? They have a viral video. They 26 years old. They have a viral video about how I grew my hair to 30 inches, right? Her mother grew her hair. Even if she's cut her hair since she was a child, right? Even if she's cut her hair since she was a child and then started growing it back, her mother grew her hair with her patterns. And if you pay attention to the majority of these women, not all of them, the majority of these girls are under 25, 26 with hair to their butts, okay? The average hair growth cycle is 7 years. So if they're 26 or 25 years old, you do the math in your head. The majority of people that you're watching that are like, oh, I put this in my hair and it grew. My baby, your hair was growing anyway. Like, your hair was growing anyway. Products do not make hair grow. Even hair growth products are not making your hair grow. What they do, they kill the bacteria on the scalp that is preventing your natural hair growth cycle from completing. That's it, that's all. But products are not growing your hair out, and you can ask any dermatologist that. There needs to be some type of understanding of the science of hair, like, because if we really sit there, if we really look back, if we really look at our grandmas and stuff at their hair, like, they have long hair, and guess what? None of them are walking around with wash and goes. Most of them are wearing roller sets still right now today, wearing roller wraps. So I don't know. That was my take on gatekeeping, and I don't know, bring it back, because somebody needs to be at the gates asking of whether or not people got cosmetology licenses, and somebody needs to be at the gates of y'all brains so y'all not doing all of the stupid stuff in these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this video was informative to you. I hope that you didn't get mad at me for everything that I had to say in it. But see you later.